Have you noticed that some people wake up every day, breathe, work, smile for the photo, but inside, they're just existing, surviving, as if life had hit pause right in the middle of the pain, and the restart button disappeared? The truth no one wants to hear is this: sometimes it's not life that's stuck, it's you who stopped moving. And the strangest thing, the longer you wait to feel good enough to act, the further away you get from the transformation you so desperately need. What if I told you that you don't need to understand everything to restart? That faith doesn't demand explanations, only willingness. This is a counterintuitive part almost nobody teaches. The greatest stories begin right in the middle of chaos. And no, you don't need superhuman strength. You need a decision, a choice to get up even when you don't want to act even when you're scared, to believe even when everything is falling apart. And that's when the supernatural shows up. In this video, you'll discover how to break the survival cycle and start living with purpose again. You'll learn, step by step, how to rewrite your story without depending on what hurt you, and more. How to activate practical faith that walks alongside movement. If you feel this is for you, then stay with us. The turnaround starts now. Turning the page isn't always simple. There are days when life feels as if yesterday is chained to today. But the past is not a sentence, it's a lesson. And even if you're carrying heavy memories, the truth is every dawn brings a chance for a new beginning. The secret? Stop rereading old chapters expecting a different ending. Sometimes all you need is to take the first step, even if it's still shaky. Restarting doesn't require you to forget, but to choose not to hold on to what can't be changed. Anyone who's lost something big, a relationship, a job, a part of themselves, knows moving on hurts, but it's not impossible. A practical exercise? Write down 3 dreams that have been on hold. Hang them on your bathroom mirror. Read them every day. Slowly, you'll remember you deserve to dream again, and the world is still waiting for you. There are moments when silence screams louder than any advice, and on those days, it feels like nothing happens. But what many forget is that the seed also stays quiet underground before blooming. You might be exactly at that stage now, the stage of preparation, of invisible germination. And it's at this point in the journey that incredible stories start to be written, like that of a woman who lost everything and still chose to carry on. Ruth could have chosen the easiest path. Go back home, live her own life, and let grief settle in. But she didn't. She chose to stay. And that decision changes everything. When the ground disappears beneath our feet, most look for the closest exit. But Ruth teaches us that sometimes healing begins when we decide to stay where the pain is. Not out of comfort, but purpose. She had no promises, no certainties, but she had faith. Her story doesn't start with a happy ending, but with crushing losses. Husband, home, identity, all gone. Yet she follows Naomi, a mother-in-law bitter from pain, toward an unlikely future. And that's where the unlikely happens. Because those who remain wholehearted, even when broken into pieces, are visited by possibilities no one sees coming. Ruth, gleaning in the fields, barely knew she was being watched by Boaz. Coincidence? Not at all. Purpose in motion. This kind of turnaround doesn't come with big neon signs. It comes with small daily fidelities. Keeping your face washed, go to work, being kind, even without energy. That's when the course changes. And when you think you're just picking up the pieces, God is writing genealogies. The same woman who lived among ruins becomes part of a royal lineage. And if that sounds too big for you, maybe you've forgotten that lost dreams can also be resurrected. There are people who no longer cry, but don't smile either. They go around as if they're breathing out of obligation. And that's not weakness. It's emotional exhaustion. Trauma, when untreated, doesn't just hurt. It numbs. It makes people stop dreaming, so they won't be disappointed again. But the human heart wasn't made to survive in autopilot mode. It beats even when hurt. And sometimes it only takes a spark, a breath of hope, to reignite what seemed forever extinguished. I know stories of people who were almost giving up, and suddenly a message, a conversation, a new project changed everything. Not because it solved the problem, but because it brought back the sparkle in their eyes. And that's pure gold. Want to know what helps? Surround yourself again with things that spark enchantment. Listen to good music. Take up an old hobby. Write letters you'll never send. All this stirs good memories and brings back who you were before so much pain. It's not weakness to feel powerless. Life hits sometimes without warning. But know this, even if you stop dreaming, your dreams haven't stopped waiting for you. And it takes just one thing to go right, just one, for everything else to start rearranging itself. The key is not to close yourself off completely, because just up ahead, when you least expect it, something will push you back into the game. And it might be exactly when you decide to act, even without apparent strength. There are days when getting out of bed is already a victory. And we think that because we're weak, it's better to wait for motivation to come back. But the secret is the opposite. Movement pulls motivation, not the other way around. Even without clarity, even tired, taking a step, no matter how small, already changes direction. It's like pushing a heavy door. At first it won't budge, but after the first shove, it opens. Ruth didn't wait to bloom before moving. She got up and went to work in the fields, even without any promises. It was sun, dust, exhaustion, but it was in the middle of routine that the answer appeared. This teaches something simple and powerful. Those who keep walking, even without seeing the whole path, end up arriving at places they never imagined. Want an example? Start today doing something you stopped. A short walk, a book left unfinished, a phone call, anything that reminds you you're still alive. Many wait to feel steady in their hearts before acting. But sometimes steadiness comes after action. And if you're waiting to be ready to start, you might never start. Faith is also this, continuing even with a broken soul, taking a step even without knowing the next one. Because in movement, the miracle reveals itself. And those who risk continuing, even broken, are exactly the ones who discover God is still writing. Pain often screams so loudly it seems to fill all the pages of our story. But what if it's not the end, just a comma? Many live as if tragedy took control of the plot. But the pen has never left God's hands. It may seem everything fell apart, but invisible chapters are being written in silence, behind the scenes, when no one is watching. What most forget is that God doesn't erase the past. He redeems it. He turns loss into purpose, tears into direction, dust into a platform. What you lived won't be thrown away. It will be used. Every detail, no matter how chaotic, can become part of a bigger plan. And you don't need to understand it all now. You just need to trust there's a narrative beyond your comprehension, but within His care. This new season won't start with fireworks or neon signs. It begins with a whisper, a gentle call to dream again. It might be today. It might be now. Pain may have written some lines, but it hasn't written the period. And if the story is still being told, it's because new dreams are ready to be born. And maybe the first step is exactly understanding what brought you here. Now that you've come this far, tell me, will you keep just existing, or will you start truly living? How many times have you postponed your dreams waiting for the right moment that never came? What if that moment is now? What if this is your chance to turn the page, even without having all the answers yet? Because life doesn't wait. And faith, it reveals itself in the walk, not in the stagnation. So what will it be? Will you write new chapters or keep rereading the same old paragraphs? You don't need to have everything figured out to take the next step. You just need to want something different. And if any part of this content stirred something inside you, don't ignore it. Use that spark. Change the pace. Change direction. Change your pattern. If this message spoke to you in any way, if it made sense or nudged you deep inside, then subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications and come with us to keep walking this journey. Here, every week, we build new beginnings. And it always starts from within.